Hey guys, I'm Alyssa and I'm 29 years old. I'm going to get into the story straight away without wasting any of your time. I promise. But before that, let me give you a little background. So, a bit about me. No fancy schmancy background or anything. Just a gal who survived college with a degree in psychology. Yep, I spent my fair share of time dissecting brains and unraveling the mysteries of the human mind. Fascinating stuff, I tell you. Now, let me introduce you to the so-called love of my life, Ronan. He was the yin to my yang, the peanut butter to my jelly. We met back in college, where he was this charming, laid-back guy majoring in computer science. Opposites attract, they say, and boy, were they right. College days were a whirlwind of late-night study sessions and impromptu road trips. I remember one time Ronan and I decided to skip class and drive all the way to the coast just to watch the sunrise. We ended up getting lost, of course, but that's half the fun, isn't it? But amidst the chaos of college life, Ronan and I found each other. It was like something out of a cheesy rom-com. Him, the quiet tech genius, and me, the bubbly psychology enthusiast. We just clicked. We both literally grew up together, and soon enough after college I landed a gig as an assistant counselor at a local community center helping troubled teens find their way in the world. It was challenging, sure, but oh so rewarding. As for Ronan, well, he landed a job as a software developer at a startup company downtown. The hours were long and the work was tough, but he thrived in that fast-paced environment. Fast forward a few years and we tied the knot. My parents adored Ronan, which was a pleasant surprise considering they are usually skeptical about anyone I bring home. And as for Ronan's mom, Kathy, well, she was a single mother. I mean, I half expected her to give me the cold shoulder, the whole mother-in-law from hell trope. But Kathy, she welcomed me with open arms. Life with Ronan was a dream come true. We were the poster couple for stability and perfection. But you know what they say, perfection is just a mirage. So it all started on a rainy morning. Ronan promised Kathy he would take the day off work and drive her to her doctor's appointment. And true to his word, he did. Meanwhile, there I was, stuck at work, dealing with patients. I remember that day vividly. I was in the middle of a session with a patient when Kathy's calls started flooding my phone. It felt like every time I glanced at my phone, there was another missed call from her. I finally managed to sneak away for a quick break and called her back about 15 minutes later. Hey, Kathy, what's going on? I'm at work and it's not the best time. Alyssa, you need to get to the hospital now. What's happened, Kathy? You sound really worried. Is everything all right? It's Ronan. He was in a car accident. He's lost a lot of blood. And I tried calling you from the ambulance, but you didn't pick up. The doctors are with him now. Oh my God, Ronan, my love, I'm coming right away. I was all set to jump into my car, but as I reached for the keys, my hands started shaking uncontrollably. It is funny, isn't it? Here I am, dealing with patients with anxiety on a regular basis, and the first rule is always to stay calm. But at that moment, calm was nowhere to be found. So I did the next best thing. I hailed a taxi. The only thing on my mind was Ronan. Would he make it? How could I even begin to imagine life without him? The drive to the hospital felt like an eternity. I spotted Kathy outside the room, her face twisted in worry and tears streaming down her cheeks. Without a second thought, I rushed over and gave her a tight hug. Hey, Kathy, what's the update on Ronan? Is he going to be okay? I wish I had answers, Alyssa. The doctors are still with him. He's banged up pretty bad, broke some bones, lost a lot of blood, but they're doing everything they can. I'm just praying he'll pull through. I can't lose my boy. Gosh, that sounds terrifying. My heart's racing just thinking about it. How did the accident happen? We were coming back from my appointment at the hospital and Ronan dropped me off and was on his way back when, boom, it was like a nightmare, Alyssa. Two cars collided not far from where he dropped me. I did not even see it coming. It all happened so fast. Oh no, that is absolutely horrifying. Was anyone else hurt? It was a police car, believe it or not, and the officer was in a bad state. They said he smelled like booze. Can you imagine? Unbelievable. This is a nightmare. But we have to stay positive, Kathy. Ronan's tough as nails. He will fight through this. I hope you're right, Alyssa. Kathy and I sat quietly, feeling helpless. All we could do was wait, clinging to the hope that the doctors would bring us some good news. When they finally came out, we looked at each other and approached them. Hey, doctor, how's my husband? Yeah, what's the update, doctor? Ronan's stable now, but there's something tough you need to hear, especially you, Alyssa. What do you mean? You're scaring me. Ronan won't be able to walk again. He has severe spinal cord damage. He is quadriplegic. Both his arms and legs are paralyzed. What? Are you sure? There must be something you can do. We have done all we can. I'm sorry. Now, if you will excuse me. Wait! Doctor, please! What about Ronan's future? Can't we try something else? I'm sorry, Alyssa, but this is it. Ronan needs you now more than ever. But my son can't be in a wheelchair for life. This can't be happening. I understand it's hard, but we've exhausted all options. I'm truly sorry. After hearing the devastating news, I hurried into the room with Kathy close behind. Ronan looked so different, so unlike himself. I reached out and held his hand tightly. He was awake, but he could not speak well. It was late, nearly midnight. Son, this is all my fault. I should not have asked you to. Mom, please, not now. It's fine. Honey, we will get you the best treatment out there. I'm not myself anymore, Alyssa. My arms, my legs, they don't function. I feel like a living corpse. There's nothing that can be done about it. Please don't say that, Ronan. My son, it's been a terrible day. There's nothing you can do. What time is it? It's almost midnight. Mom, I think you should go. Alyssa's here with me. Come visit me again tomorrow. Well, it's late. I should go. I'm really sorry, son. Kathy left the room, leaving Ronan and me alone. I felt lost, unsure of what to say or do. I knew how devastating this news was for him, so I just sat there quietly, holding his hand, hoping to find the right words to bring him comfort. Alyssa, there's something I've been thinking about, something I need to talk to you about. Of course, Ronan. What's on your mind? You know you can share anything with me. Today changed everything, not just for me, but for you too. Look at you. So young, only 29. I know all the dreams you had, the plans we made together, kids, a family, watching them grow up. But now I can't give you any of that anymore. I'm sorry. Ronan, please, let's not dwell on this right now. You have always been my top priority, and that hasn't changed. I know this situation is tough, but I am just grateful you're still with us. But Alyssa, I can see how hard this is for you too. I know you could move on, find someone new and start over. You're strong and capable. But please, for us, for all the memories we cherish from college, from buying our first apartment together, please don't leave me. I know I can't be of any use to you anymore. I feel like a burden, but I love you, Alyssa. You're the only one I trust, the only one who can take care of me. Ronan, how could you even think that? Leave you? Never. You need me now more than ever, and I'm not going anywhere. We'll face this together, I promise. But Alyssa, you'll have to take care of everything now. I can't work anymore. Can you handle all the bills and the responsibilities? I will do whatever it takes, Ronan. I will take on an extra part-time job and work as much as I need to. I love you, hon, and I will do everything in my power to make our life as normal as possible. Hearing that, it means the world to me, Alyssa. Thinking back on everything, I realize all the promises I made to Ronan came straight from my heart, fueled by genuine love. But let us admit it, we can all act a little foolish in love sometimes. While Ronan slept peacefully, I could not shake the weight of responsibility that now rested on my shoulders. The next morning hit me like a ton of bricks. Kathy was already at the hospital, her demeanor solemn. She urged me to go home for fresh clothes, so I did. Taking a taxi, I found my car parked at the community center's parking lot since the day before. After a quick shower and change of clothes, I went to the community center to inform them about Ronan's accident and how I would not be able to come to work until Ronan was discharged from the hospital. Then, without delay, I drove straight to the hospital. Upon my arrival, I saw a policeman speaking with Kathy. What's happening here? This young man had some questions for Ronan about the accident, just routine interrogation they do after an accident. Oh, I see. Hey, I'm Mike. You must be Alyssa, Ronan's wife? Yeah, that's me. I'm sorry about what happened. Thanks. How's the other person? I heard it was a drunk police officer. Yeah, I can't say much, but his badge has been taken away. He's okay, though. That's not fair. He's the one who crashed into my son. He was reckless, and now he's fine while my son suffers. Kathy, calm down. I know you're upset, but we can't do anything about it. Anyway, Alyssa, here's my number if you need to reach out later for more questions. Thanks, Mike. That's really kind of you. Being at the hospital with Ronan was tough. Some days were better than others, but I tried to be there for him as much as I could. I remember one day when he was feeling particularly down, I brought him his favorite snacks and we watched his favorite movie together. It seemed to lift his spirits a bit, even if just for a little while. There were also times when Ronan's frustration got the best of him. He would get angry and upset, understandably so. It was hard for him to come to terms with his new reality. Ronan finally came home from the hospital. It was a bittersweet moment seeing him in his wheelchair, knowing the challenges that lay ahead. But we were determined to make the best of it. The morning we arrived home, I struggled to put Ronan to bed. It was tough, to say the least, lifting him on my own, but I had made a vow to stand by him through thick and thin. As Ronan napped downstairs, I heard a knock at the door. It was Mike, the policeman. I welcomed him in, and he took a seat on the couch. Hey, officer, what's up? Hi, Alyssa. How have things been going for you lately? To be honest, it's been pretty tough. Ronan and I are both struggling, but I'm doing my best to stay strong for both of us. I understand. I'm here to talk to you about the car. Oh, yeah? What about it? It belongs to Ronan. Well, it's pretty banged up. We took some photos of the insurance company. Oh, gosh, I totally forgot about that. I've been so wrapped up with everything going on at the hospital. It's okay, no worries. Also, we checked the dashcam footage. And what did you find? Your husband's story matches up with the footage. The accident wasn't entirely his fault. I never doubted Ronan. He's always been truthful. There's something else, though. What is it? Is everything all right? Yeah, everything's fine, but there's something you should know. Something unofficial. What is it? I didn't mean to intrude, but I found something on the dashcam footage. Go on, tell me. Your husband did drop off your mother-in-law just like he said, but there's something else before the accident. I have got a USB drive with some information on it. I'm not sure I understand. What kind of information? You should watch it alone. It might be best to keep Ronan away from it. Okay, I'll watch it. That's all I wanted to tell you. Take care. Thanks for letting me know. Curiosity overwhelmed me. What was it that Mike couldn't say to my face? Knowing Ronan would not be awake for another couple of hours, I grabbed my laptop and sat on the couch. Inserting the USB drive, I found a single video on it, a dash cam recording. As the video played, I could hear Kathy and Ronan talking. It was from that same morning before the accident. "So, Ronan, how did you handle that situation with Myla?" "Mom, please, let's not talk about it. It was incredibly difficult to convince her to go through with the abortion. She was so attached to me and she didn't even know I was married. If she found out, she would have been furious." "You're just like me when I was younger. I liked to have a bit of fun." "No way, Mom. I hope it wasn't when Dad was around." "But Mom, I'm scared that Alyssa will catch on eventually. She may seem slow, but she'll figure it out." "Oh, come on, Ronan. Alyssa will never find out. Remember that blonde girl you met when Alyssa was away at that psychology conference?" "Yeah, I remember her. I was so close to getting caught." "Son, I never understood why you married her in the first place. She comes off as very boring to me." "Alyssa always makes me look good. My friends absolutely love her, and they're kind of envious I've got such a wonderful, kind-hearted wife. That's why I wanted to keep her around. She's like the best accessory a man could ever hope for." "Ronan, if Alyssa ever finds out about your lies, she'll be devastated. Whenever she comes over for dinner at my place, she always talks about starting a family and how excited she is. If she learns about your little trip with Myla last weekend to the abortion center, she would be devastated." "Mom, it just occurred to me that maybe she's right. We should definitely try for a baby. Once she's busy with the baby, I'll have more freedom than ever." "So, that's me." "All right, I'll pull over." "Thanks a bunch for arranging the doctor's appointment, sweetheart. And hey, give my love to Myla. You'll be seeing her next week, won't you?" "Mom, always teasing me. See you later." I sat in front of my laptop, utterly stunned by what I had just witnessed. Was that conversation even real? Ronan had been cheating on me, not just with one woman, but with multiple women for so long. And to top it off, this Myla girl was pregnant with Ronan's child. I didn't know how to react. There he was, sleeping peacefully in the other room while I had been bending over backwards taking care of him like a donkey and stressing about our future. And all this time, he was unfaithful to me. They talked about bringing a baby into our family so he could have more freedom. What did that even mean? So he could sleep with more women without my interference? It was outrageous. At that moment, I felt like such a fool. All those promises I made to him at the hospital, pledging to make ends meet for us while he had the audacity to beg me to stay with him forever, knowing he had been cheating on me. And Kathy? How could she condone his behavior? Didn't she have any sympathy for me? No, she did not. She was encouraging him. After a lot of thought, I decided to keep quiet for a while. When Ronan woke up and called out for me, I chose to remain calm. I did not want to show him that I was angry or that I knew about his infidelity. The day passed in silence, with Ronan oblivious to my inner turmoil. Did he even care about me, or was he only concerned with himself? That night, while Ronan slept, I could not resist the urge to check his phone. I wanted to see what he had been up to, so using his Face ID while he slept, I accessed his text messages. At first, they seemed innocent, just conversations with work colleagues. But then I stumbled upon something unexpected. Tinder. My husband had been on a dating app all this while. I scrolled through his chats, and there she was, Myla. But she wasn't the only one. There were other girls Ronan had been talking to, but Myla seemed to be the one he had actually met from the chats. I made up my mind. I wanted to get back at Ronan regardless of his paralysis or the trauma he had endured in the accident. I texted Myla. Hi, Mila. This is Alyssa, Ronan's wife. No way! Is this some kind of a joke? No, it isn't. Ronan was in a car crash. He is paralyzed. I recently found out about you. I had no idea he was married. I'm so sorry, Alyssa. This is all so unexpected. I also heard about how he forced you into getting an abortion. I'm sorry, it must have been hard for you. Thanks, it really was. I understand, Mila. I'm not blaming you. In fact, if you want to confront him about not telling you about our marriage, you're welcome to come to our house this Saturday. I want to expose him for who he is in front of everyone. Count me in. Text me your address. I couldn't believe the mess I was in. Ronan's betrayal not only dragged me into his mess, but also involved other women like Mila. It pained me to think that he would force someone to undergo such a traumatic experience as an abortion. And to top it off, Kathy, my mother-in-law, didn't even object to his behavior despite knowing everything. I felt the need to expose the truth to everyone, so I devised a plan for Saturday. I would invite them over under the pretense of a gathering with Ronan, but my surprise guest, Mila, would arrive, and hopefully the truth would come out. With 3 days to go until Saturday, I struggled to maintain a facade of normalcy around Ronan. The next day I had work, so I asked Kathy to look after Ronan in my absence. When I returned, I found Kathy had left, believing Ronan and I were alone. So, Alyssa, have you considered taking up that second part-time job? Well, I've been giving it some thought, and I plan to apply to a few places soon. You really should. Our current situation isn't sustainable. Your job alone isn't enough to provide for us comfortably. With my condition, I want us to live comfortably, and that requires extra income. I've been thinking about it. I want to explore the world, and having some extra money would certainly help. Ronan, you know the bills are piling up. I think you should put a pause on your traveling dreams. What do you mean, pause? You promised to stay by my side. You have to obey whatever I say. Anyway, I have another idea. My mom suggested this girl to me, a live-in caretaker. With you working long hours, I'll be alone most of the time, and I need someone to take care of me. We can't rely on my mom to come over every day. I understand that, but what about the professional nurse recommended by your doctor? He seemed trustworthy. I'm not concerned about the doctor's recommendation. The girl my mom mentioned seems sweet and reliable. I think you should give her a call tomorrow. We can arrange a meeting. I couldn't believe Ronan's idea of having a young nurse instead of the one recommended by the doctor. It made me feel like he just wanted to be around other women. Even though I could be wrong about my intuition, I couldn't shake off the feeling of how he had betrayed me. The next day, Ronan asked if I had called the girl. I lied and said I did because I didn't want to argue. Slowly, I started packing my things, planning to leave after the gathering on Saturday. Some might think it's wrong to leave Ronan when he's gone through something so terrible, but I couldn't forget how he treated me. Despite being someone who forgives easily, I couldn't forgive him this time. I invited Ronan's friends and family over for a gathering and told them I was hosting it to cheer him up. After everyone agreed to come, I called Kathy. Kathy, it's Alyssa. Oh, Alyssa, I wasn't expecting your call. Is everything okay? How's Ronan? Is he doing okay? Yeah, he's all right. I called to tell you that I'm planning a little gathering tomorrow. Just thought it might lift his spirits. A gathering? Are you serious? Ronan needs rest, dear. I know, but I thought being with loved ones would cheer him up. Did he agree to this? It's more of a surprise. I'd love for you to be there too. Well, now that I think about it, having his friends around might be good for him. Great. See you tomorrow, Kathy. It's going to be a wonderful time. Once Kathy agreed, I got prepared. Saturday morning arrived and I messaged Mila to make sure she was still on board. She confirmed, which made me feel relieved. I was nervous about how things would unfold, but I knew it had to be done. Upstairs, I packed my things ready to leave. Ronan remained downstairs, unaware of my plans. At 4 p.m, the doorbell rang and guests began to arrive, filling our house with chatter and laughter. All these people, I wasn't expecting this, but it's nice to see some old faces. So, did you invite everyone from my contact list? You know, you could have asked me before contacting everyone. Now, Ronan, hush down. It's okay. I invited almost everyone I thought was important and needed to be here. I just want you to enjoy this evening. It's going to get a lot more interesting later. What do you mean? You wait and see. Seriously, Alyssa, you're acting weird. What's going on? Relax, Ronan. It's nothing to worry about. Just enjoy the company and the food. So at this point, Ronan was getting a bit suspicious about what was happening, but I managed to calm him down because there were a lot of people around. Kathy was also busy chatting with guests, and then I received a text from Mila saying she was outside. I thought it was the perfect time for her to come in since everyone was already here. I waited anxiously, watching the door. After a couple of minutes, a beautiful woman entered. Despite her beauty, Mila looked exhausted, like she hadn't slept in days. I could only imagine what she had been through. Ronan seemed surprised when she walked in, and he looked around, unsure of what to do. Mila seemed nervous, so I approached her and we whispered together. I explained the plan to her. Then I cleared my throat and called for everyone's attention. Hey everyone, thanks for coming. I know you're here because Ronan is important to you, but there's something important I need to share with you all today. Alyssa, I don't know what you've heard or who told you, but I don't think this is the right way to handle things. We can discuss this privately. Come on, Ronan. Why be shy about it now? People need to know the truth. Ronan, how could you do this to me? We were together for a year and you never mentioned having a wife. Whenever I asked to come over, you said your mom lived with you and didn't like visitors. But it turns out you had a wife. Mila, please, this isn't the time or place for this conversation. You have no right to be here. Ronan, you've hurt Mila deeply. She deserves to be heard. This is just the beginning. Everyone should know what you put her through. I was happy when I found out I was pregnant with your child, Ronan. I hoped it would bring us closer, but instead, you pressured me into getting an abortion. I wanted to keep the baby, but you forced me to go through with it. Ronan, finding your Tinder account and seeing your conversations with other women hurt. But you know what hurt me even more? Knowing that you could be so cruel and selfish. How could you force a woman to undergo something? Let's discuss this in private. There's no need to involve everyone. My friends are here. Ronan is right, Alyssa. You are overreacting. And why did you invite this woman into our house? Kathy, stay out of this. You encouraged his behavior. You're just as guilty. I heard everything. The conversation you had with your mom in the car just before the accident. Your confessions shattered me. Knowing that you wanted a baby with me just to keep me occupied while you pursued other women freely is utterly disgusting. The entire room fell silent. Confusion painted everyone's faces and whispers began to fill the air. Can everyone just give us some space? I need to talk to my wife. Hold on, Ronan. Correction, ex-wife. I've already spoken to my lawyer and I want a divorce. My bags are packed upstairs. I'm leaving you. Your mom, Kathy, can take care of you, or maybe one of your Tinder dates will be happy to help. What? Are you serious, Alyssa? You can't just leave me like this. We've been married for 3 years. We've been through so much together. I made a mistake, but we can work through it, right? The damage is already done, Ronan. No amount of effort can fix this. Please, Alyssa, I love you. I can't imagine my life without you. You brought this upon yourself, Ronan. I'm leaving. Kathy, you're welcome to stay here if you want. I'll be in touch about the divorce proceedings soon. Seriously, Alyssa? You're really going to do this? I can't handle taking care of Ronan. You cannot dump him on me like this. Kathy, it's not about what you can handle. It's about what's right. And right now, staying with Ronan isn't right for me. You've been supporting his wrongdoings all along, Kathy. Now it's time for you to face the consequences too. So I went upstairs, grabbed my bag, and left the house. As soon as I stepped outside, it felt like a huge weight had been lifted off my shoulders. Some guests followed me out, saying they were sorry for what happened, but I didn't want to hear it. I hailed a taxi to the train station and boarded the first train to my parents' house. When I told them what happened, they were very supportive. I cried a lot during those days. It felt like my whole life had turned upside down. Ronan had been a big part of my life since college, and it was hard to accept that he was no longer in it. Now, 6 months later, Ronan and I are officially divorced. Looking back, I feel sorry for him. It's tough to lose the ability to walk and be in a wheelchair forever, but I couldn't continue to support him after everything he did to me. I'm grateful to the police officer, Mike, who showed me the video. I even reached out to him for helping me in a way he didn't need to. Otherwise, I might have never known the truth. The last time I saw Ronan, he said he was living with Kathy and complaining about how she wasn't treating him nice enough. But that's the consequence of his actions. He couldn't expect me to stay after everything he put me through. Anyway, that chapter of my life is closed now. I've started to move on, and I'm optimistic that things will get better for me. I believe in karma, and I think good things are coming my way. I deserve it.